And podcast number 2, take 1.
All right.
Shouldn't you do it? Yeah, probably. There we go. Okay, all right, here we go, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Surviving Hollywood, the podcast about us navigating our lives throughout Hollywood as actors, filmmakers, and everything in between. Got a special guest here today, Eddie Vincent. What's up, buddy?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Nice seeing you.
Great to see you, Eddie.
Good to have you here, buddy.
Yeah, man, good to see you. First things first, we actually already know you, right? We've known you for a couple of years.
But how would our fans know you? How would the people who watch this podcast every week know you?
Well, maybe you've seen me, shooting up or snorting coke, playing. No, not in Hollywood. Well,
in the movies.
I was playing Charlie Sheen on TV.
Hey.
Palisades Justice was a nice one.
Nice.
Sorry. Oh, we're looking at my credits.
You've done a few viral videos or like popular, videos, right?
I just went pretty viral like last month.
Are you talking about a video or a disease?
Well, it took 30 days for him to get the test results back.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's all cured up. But, it's a music video, Mike Singer. And he's a big German pop star, like a Justin Bieber. You guys ever hear of Justin Bieber?
I've heard of him.
Anyway, so apparently I'm big in Germany. It was like 2 months, this thing, right? It's like got 1 million hits. And I just played this real asshole kind of pit boss, for a casino. So it's shot in Vegas.
So just to clarify for the folks at home, I don't want to lose anybody. You got cast in the German Justin Bieber's like music video, and you played a pit boss?
Yeah, kind of like a Robert De Niro pit boss, like in Casino.
So you're like the new Hasselhoff, is that what you're saying?
Actually, I am. Thank you.
I like that.
Big in Germany.
I am, and they even asked me to do a mafia movie. They have one going on at the end of the year, so I might be in Germany,
Nice.
Deutsch. Was that German?
Hey,
Close enough.
the wall came down.
Thank you, guys.
All right, before we get into any further, let's do the, as is tradition, the airing of the grievances.
Here we go.
We're all friends on this podcast, and the podcast is about how to survive in Hollywood. And just like you don't want to go to bed, with bad ill will, bad feelings, we don't want to start off this podcast with any ill will towards each other, any ill will towards the world. So this is where I ask everybody who's around this table right now, is there any grievances that you want to air about each other or about anything that happened to you in the world?
Even you, Eddie, if you got one, anybody.
Yeah, I got one like about an hour ago. I went to my P.O. box because I actually I haven't had a real address in 15 years.
Nice
I like to keep the cops on.
Mysterious.
Yeah, because if you're looking for me, you can't find me. Well, but on IMDb you can. You know what I'm saying?
I can find you on this podcast.
Hey, yeah, that too. So I got to check. I worked on this big show last week, and it's all good. But it was a nice fat check, but the government took so much out of it, and I don't feel I need to pay taxes.
More.
So to clarify, your grievance is with the government.
It is, yeah.
Okay.
But haven't you, not more taxes than you would suspect, right? That's standard.
It's just a little bit more. I just,
Nobody likes to pay tax. You work, this is how much I'm going to get. And then you see your check and you're like, well, this isn't what I got.
Yeah, but I don't have any kids in the school system. I'm barely
that you know of. That
I know of.
Yeah.
And I don't really drive the roads that much.
Okay. Not sure. All right, well.
So your grievance is with the government. Anybody else have a grievance they'd like to air?
And the roads, apparently, and the roads.
And the roads, yeah.
I don't have any myself. Anybody else have any?
I actually had a great day, so.
Yeah, fantastic.
I had a grievance. I cannot recall it right now, but all right, let's move on. Let's get to the interview. What is this podcast going to be about today? Why are people tuning in right now?
Well, I feel like we kind of jumped ahead a little bit, but, the whole point of this podcast is surviving Hollywood. So our guest here has been in Hollywood for a long time now.
Here's the thing. You could tune in to plenty of other podcasts, see an A-list actor talking about what they're doing in Hollywood. There's plenty of different outlets for that. You're going to tune into this podcast to see how everyday, average people like Eddie Vincent started from nothing and got to where he is right now. We'll be sharing some of our own stories as well because we're all working actors and working in this industry right now.
I literally came here on a bus ticket, on a Greyhound ticket.
Okay, so let's start from the top. Where from? Because everybody knows.
I grew up in the mean streets of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And sold everything I had and brought my girl with me at the time.
What age?
I just turned 22. So this is right around when Clinton was about to become president. I actually voted for Perot. I think I was the only one. So, yeah.
Okay.
So you like Ross?
Yeah, so I sold everything at the drive-in. at the drive-in you could sell your stuff.
You and your girlfriend drove to LA.
No,
Took a bus, right?
Took a Greyhound bus. I still have those.
Wait, so hold on. You sold everything at the drive-in? What is that? How does that work?
Well,
exactly?
drive-in, they have all, what do you call it? Like a little
Yard sale?
a flea market.
Flea market? Okay.
Yeah. So you're selling everything you got, and yeah, I'd already gone to art school for a couple of years. I did a soap opera at Columbia. Was in some pretty big plays, and I didn't even know how to act. And not that I do now. But
So how did you convince your girlfriend to come with you? Because it was your dream you were following.
well, I was going to leave her, and so she.
Wow, clinging on.
She paid for the gas.
She hopped on
the bus.
which is a good thing in a way because all I was doing before, I was a bellboy at a hotel and meeting all rock stars and famous people. So I was kind of like I was making a lot of money when I was 19 and 20, like in Goodfellas. So I kind of felt like I was like a little Goodfella, a little Polish Goodfella.
Nice.
a good boy if you were little.
Well, yeah, but yeah. So I came in here with her, and she was pretty smart, so she got a real job, and I was just trying to go apply everywhere I could. This is before the internet and phones and stuff.
Let's get this right up next to your mouth, dude. I don't want to miss a word of this.
Yeah. So my first. Well, did I tell you that the first job was like a little one of those hot tub places? I don't know,
like a hot tub commercial?
No, it was like a
Bed Bath and Beyond he's talking
No,
about.
it was like a peep show hot tub place. It was I don't know.
And you were the star.
So you
were the peeping Tom.
So you came to Los Angeles. I need to have a job to survive because I want to be an actor, but I need to pay the bills somehow.
Yeah.
So your first job was in a peep show.
But I think it was a couples kind of thing, There was holes in the wall and stuff, but I only lasted like an hour. I slipped on something and I ran out.
Lasting an hour in one of those places seems like a feat.
Hey, that sounds pretty
crazy stuff.
Pretty accomplished.
But why'd you pick that over like a coffee house or like a bartending gig or something? Like, why would you pick that? Was the money better?
No, but the thing is, like, they wanted a resume, and I don't know what that was. There wasn't people didn't have resumes back in the late '80s, early '90s.
So it's on a handshake or something.
I don't know if
usually,
that's true.
You look someone in the eye and you say, "Hey, yeah," you shake their hand.
I like you.
That's how it was,
Boom. I wish we
And-
still did that.
Can we get a fact check on whether that resume is in the 80s?
Actually,
Yeah,
can we backtrack 1 second? Right before you moved to LA, my question was, why did you even decide to become an actor?
Yeah.
Like, what was it about
Why do
you
you-
living there? You decided to move all the way across the country to do this.
What attracts you to acting?
Well, I always had trouble in school learning and that stuff, and I used to do like paint and guitar and all that stuff. But in school, like junior, senior year, I remember my literature teacher. We started having like movie day, and I'm very visual, and we watched On the Waterfront, and I was really inspired by Marlon Brando. Then I tried to go to regular school for like a semester, like business, and it was just all gibberish to me. It just moves around.
Well, you
and-
seem pretty street smart, which you have to have for a certain degree of business to be successful.
But yeah, just drive talking, and you know what I mean, kind of like a used car salesman. But I went to Columbia and I auditioned, and the next thing you know, I was in a major play, Eugene O'Neill, opposite AJ Naidoo, who actually was an star of Office Space. He had just got done with the Michael Keaton film.
Which one was he in Office Space?
The Indian guy.
The Indian guy.
Oh,
That guy
nice.
was fun.
AJ, yes.
That was
Next thing
good.
you know, I'm opposite him.
Oh, okay. He was also in the movie Bad Santa, right? The guy.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
I am not
Yeah.
gay.
Yeah. Yes, I was next. I'm like, whoa! I literally go from not knowing how to act, and so I remember rehearsing for that, and with all these people who already been in acting, and I was doing an English accent, and they were all kind of chuckling.
We'd love to.
Can we hear it?
Yeah, we'd love to hear that.
Okay.
Oh, let me give you the scenario.
Okay.
You just walked into an English shop. You want to buy a pack of smokes.
But here's the thing. I thought it was English, but it's Eugene O'Neill, so it's set in America.
Right.
And but I was just figuring with the term. So, okay. So I'll try to say something.
Well, let's hear it.
Yeah,
Okay,
whatever the accent is, whatever.
All right. Milady, your dress looks so nice.
Well, it's a very
Very
sexy British.
Well, I haven't.
I don't know what.
Well, I haven't done that in a while, so I got to touch over my English
God,
accent.
God
Is it
damn,
hot,
dude.
is it
So
hot
they
in
can-
here?
Good thing
So,
you
yeah,
got
so they-
charm, dude.
So they cast me, and I remember my family coming to me on the side, and I was so excited. And
So,
all,
sorry,
and
so
all
I'm a little confused on the
wait,
timeline, dude. Is this your first role?
My first role, and all my family could say was, "Why are you wearing makeup?" That was my big. So I felt really
I
upset.
mean, that's why I became an actor.
Yeah.
Finally, used to wear makeup.
But right, and then I ended up on the soap opera, they wrote a.
So this is in L.A.
This is at Columbia.
Oh, okay.
Which is cool because the same person, Mike Kerrigan, who was on that soap opera.
Can we just clarify the timeline a little
But
bit?
we're right now in the early
We're kinda
90s.
jumping around a little
But
bit.
you took a Greyhound to Columbia? Is that?
Not Columbia, South America.
No. Columbia in Chicago.
Yeah,
That's
well,
the school.
Columbia's off Michigan Avenue. Yeah. So,
Yeah, yes, of course.
But that's where you traveled with your girlfriend to, Chicago.
Well, no, I grew up in Chicago.
And where are you in the
guys
story,
you
man?
You backed it up. You guys backed it up.
Sorry, please continue.
All right.
Yeah, we're trying to get to the initial beginning of what happened. Okay, great.
So then I auditioned for this, this mafia thing there, and I got it. They wrote a character in for me, and it was kind of cool. But I didn't. Acting was still new, so Mike and I were everyone's rehearsing. We'd go down to happy hour, and since it's service, beer and a shot, and we'd go up and say our lines, and the director's like, "You guys are always so natural," and we're like, "Thanks, man," But we each had a pitcher of beer and shots. And,
Nice.
So I feel like you kind of gravitate toward a lot of like the mafia type guys. Is that because of the neighborhood you kind of grew up in?
No, I'm actually Polish, but I always liked the mafia stuff because, Capone was from there. John Dillinger got murdered right where I lived
Nice.
in the city. Valentine's Day massacre. So I always kind of then watching Goodfellas, Godfather. That's just I always.
Can Polish people not be in the mafia? Do they not have their own mafia?
Well, it's Italian.
Yeah, well, no, there's a Polish mafia. We just don't have any guns.
They just dance.
That was supposed to be funny.
Oh.
Okay, it's all right.
No
Yeah,
laugh track.
we do a dance off. We
We have a few sound effects.
Yeah.
We were showing them to Eddie earlier.
we say a bunch of stupid jokes. You laugh yourself to death.
There you go.
I like it.
But I've just always liked it. I always felt kind of natural doing it.
Cool.
Again, with the mafia show I have going on now. But yeah,
So then eventually, obviously, you came to LA on a bus with your girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So when you first got here, like, what was like you got off the bus? Like, what did you do? Did you know where to go? Or what was?
I did not. The only thing I kind of knew, I ended up in Santa Monica, and I knew the thing I knew about Santa Monica was the Regal Beagle.
Sounds cool.
Well, it was made up from the Three's Company, so that's where they lived, and that's what I was basing.
And you probably were hearing about things like the internet around that time.
No, it wasn't out yet. Yeah. So that wasn't even out. So you still had your yellow pages. You still had your. If you were going to drive somewhere, you had your.
So how do you go
your
from
Thomas guide?
Thomas Guide, yeah.
How do you go from so you landed there? I'm assuming you got a place to live. Now, how do you get your first job? What do you do? There's no guidebook at that time.
There's no, and it's black and white photos at the time. It's 90210 these days, those kind of thing. And I had that.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, yeah. And I had that kind of look, So yeah, I had I started to study at the Debbie Reynolds studio, which I just tore down with Daryl Hickman. He was in the Grapes of Wrath and worked with Spencer Tracy, so I worked with him.
So you immediately get into class.
Yeah, I got in class, yeah.
Cool.
And it was pretty cool. And there happened to be a girl from class got asked to do this commercial, and then they asked me just to be the back of the head, and I said sure.
To audition? Or
No, they were going to shoot it, right? And there was this
Oh.
guy from. It was a safe sex commercial.
Nice, dude.
And so I was just supposed to be the back of the head. The girl couldn't say it's French kissing safe sex. She said it was messing up, and he goes, Eddie.
That was her line?
Yeah, and he goes, Eddie, can you say that line? I go, yeah. So I grabbed her by the hair. Not grabbed her by the hair, but
Time is up, buddy.
Arrest her.
did it gently in my
yes,
way.
of course.
And I looked at the camera. I said, is French kissing safe sex? And so I planted one on her, and two takes, I landed the gig.
And they were like, Eddie, we haven't rolled yet. Can you stop, please?
Well, the funny thing is, I never.
So you took your friend's role.
I did, yeah, I did. But the thing is, I hadn't even seen it, and then there was a girl who used to come to the bar and said, "Oh my God, this has been playing for 3 years at 2 a.m."
Was it union or non-union?
That was non-union.
I'm not familiar with the rules back then either. So, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, that was non-union.
But I think that's kind of like a difficult thing to do, to turn a part where you're basically the afterthought, and all of a sudden you parlay your way into you made the commercial.
Yeah.
What do you attribute? I mean, do you guys think that's kind of that's what
A
you
little
should be
chutzpah.
doing?
I was just kind of.
A lot of people are too nervous to do something like that.
I think because I think maybe one thing it's I was just the back of the head at the time, And
So you had total freedom.
Total freedom. And then once I turned my head and I found my angle, you know what I mean? It was
just knew.
magic.
Just
it was
knew.
magic. And then from there I booked a sun-kissed commercial.
Attaboy.
So do you have an agent by now? Is it through a Backstage magazine? Is that how you
No,
get
but
Are
then,
you worried at all about your future? Because a lot of people come to LA and they're like, oh man, I need to book something. I got one thing. I mean, are you worried about like keeping your survival job and trying to like book
well,
stuff?
yeah, that time I still stayed at the bar, but just because, and then also the connections that I've met over the years, which has been, beneficial for me. But
Well, hold on, let's back up. So you said you were working at a bar at that time?
I was, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's just kind of backtrack on that. So now you're in LA, you're taking acting classes, you just did this commercial and Sunkissed also. So
Working
in
at
the
a bar, a lot of
meantime,
people have this story.
yeah, so in the meantime, you're working at a bar just to make ends meet? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, basically
Okay.
that, networking, and I enjoyed drinking beer at the time in the 90s.
Who doesn't?
And so was,
How'd you get the gig anyway at the bar?
So, that's a great story. So, I literally had just, I was down to my last couple dollars, and I was like, man, I don't want to go back home and that stuff, because I have my family every couple days I'd call, like, oh, you'll be back. Like, there was a bet when I was going to come back. And so I said, well, might as well stop off and get drunk one last time. So I stopped off at the beach bar, and I was talking to the manager. I said, hey, you guys hiring? He goes, what are you, like 16? Because I looked young. I always looked young. And
How old are you?
I was
20.
22, yeah. So it was like, he's like, where are you from? I go, Chicago. He goes, what are you, Irish? And I go, yeah, I'm Irish and Polish. You know what I mean? You got to kind of blend in.
For sure.
Got to tell them what they want to hear, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And I could have been anything. And then, yeah, right? So it's all good. Then he goes to talk to the owner, Jim, who just passed last year. And he takes me outside and he goes, Eddie, so where you from? And I go, Chicago. And he goes, well, I got laid a lot in the 60s in Chicago, but don't tell my wife. I go, I won't. He goes, what is, he goes, oh, you a hard worker? I said, yeah. Do you steal? I said, no. Do you do drugs? I said, no. He goes, do you drink? I said, occasionally. And then he goes, do you have a girlfriend? I go, yeah, I thought that was a good thing. He goes, well, no, that's not good. I go, why? He goes, because you're going to be getting so much pussy here. It's going to cause trouble. And I go, I'll take care of it. And he goes, you're hired.
Wow.
So that was how I got hired.
You dumped her that night?
No.
Can I ask a general question? A lot of people, I guess the statistic is after about 4 years in Hollywood, and that's going back for decades.
Yeah.
A lot of people come here, they try and make it as an actor or actress. 4 years in is the average, and they give up and go home. Now, obviously, you've been here much longer than 4 years. Did you ever feel that, like a point where you're thinking maybe I should just give this up? Or do you have any, could you speak on that at all?
Yeah. I was about to turn 30.
And you've been in Hollywood for how long? 10 years, right?
Year we know. Yeah. yeah. I was, it's 8 years, whatever.
years, yeah.
And so I read.
Do math.
So I was getting close to some things. I remember reading. I came close to getting the new Spencer, opposite Stacy Keach. I got close to that, and I had some things at Fox I got really close to. But I didn't. But I was like, oh man, this is gonna happen. September 11th happened that same month. It was just a chaotic stuff. Reality TV was just going on.
So you blame 9/11.
Yeah.
Well, I did get jumped that night. At night coming home on my bike because I lost my front tooth.
But Jordan, reality TV was like thriving at that time.
It
like
just
everybody's
kind of
talking-
started coming
it's
on.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, it's taking jobs away from good actors.
What is?
Reality TV.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I wasn't. I wasn't.
And
I wasn't.
And 9/11, yeah, sure.
I wasn't a reality TV person. I go, no, I've studied. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm still not a reality TV person myself,
Nothing wrong with it.
but it's just not my thing. Yes, I got close, and then I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just done. Like it was like everyone had newer cars, had buying things, and you know what I mean. You're giving all your money to your art. So I actually kind of stopped all through my 30s, and you're at home, and I moved back to Chicago briefly. And now you're seeing friends on TV that you've worked with, or
That
different kind of things,
for the
and
same part or something.
or that you've known. And you're like, going, man,
Yeah.
if I would have just stuck it out there 5 more years, right? And then when I was like 40, a buddy of mine asked me to be in a show, which we were in the same thing in Colombia.
The play?
No, the mafia thing.
Okay.
My character, yeah.
Which is a play.
Sorry.
What?
The mafia thing. Wasn't that not a play?
No, it was a cable TV show.
Oh,
Pay
It was
attention, dude.
TV. Yeah.
cool. I've heard of TV.
And so this thing was called Celebrity Double Dating. It was reality, but it was a pilot. So it was me going out with Jennifer Aniston and Angela Jolie. They had the number one, what do you call it? So with Mike Kasem, Casey Kasem's son was in it. But it turned out pretty cool. So it was nice to do that. And I started getting some more things. And I'm like, you know what? You came out for doing that. You can't, it's like an artist, a painter, or a musician. You can't just never put down your art. You know what I mean? It's going to come back no matter what. So what, you get a desk job, but you still want to do your art.
Right.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt that even stronger. And in my early 40s, I've been getting a lot of good stuff, and different old friends that I'd worked with in the past who have, like with the show that I'm in right now, the pilot, Swipe. Mike is the one who directed that and wrote it, and he's the one we did the college thing, and he's done tons of
full circle
directing. Yeah.
For the folks at home, what are you talking about?
It's Swipe. It's a comedy with Eddie McGee and a bunch of other people in there. It's kind of like dating in Los Angeles. And I guess I'm the 40-something old guy who's still trying to
Attaboy.
Tinder it up.
Based on real life, then.
Yeah, I got my account got blocked, but yeah. What? Oh wait, no, I'm teasing. No,
Never heard of that.
yeah. I blew a head gasket.
Very cool. Well, I want to check in with Austin and Johnny real quick.
Yeah.
What are you guys thinking about this guy?
I mean, Eddie's full of stories, man. That's why you're here. I just think it's cool, man, because you get this full scope of this experience of just coming in at a different time. I think what I'm interested in too is kind of seeing what it was like to be an actor back then compared to now, because it's changed so much, right?
Oh, completely.
Yeah. So what would you say is, I know obviously, besides the black and white and like the Thomas Guide and stuff like that, what are the huge differences that you've noticed between casting now and then?
Well, one thing that's interesting too, before you'd always go in and you'd read for that casting director, right? Which I do like, because with me, if you just put me on for a couple lines here and there, and guy, I have a personality. Even when I'm like, hey, how's it going? Da da da. You know what I mean? Doobie doo, or whatever like that. And they can kind of get a gist. Hey,
doobie doo, yeah.
Shooby doobie. But I think they can get a feel like, oh, this guy's cool, or give you a direction, or go, oh, he'd be perfect with this cast. Then compared to maybe someone who might be a tight ass.
Well, let me tell you what I think you do well, because we all used to be in the same acting class. We've worked together before. I think something that you do well when you do any sort of parts, you bring generally speaking, you bring a certain level of credibility, but whether you're playing like a mobster or a doctor, it just sounds real when you talk, as opposed to a lot of people when it kind of seems like they're trying to be engaging or something. Do you notice that about yourself, or do you guys notice that? Or?
He's blushing.
I'm blushing. I look like Bob's Big Boy right now. With the burger.
Yeah.
Grew up in Ohio,
we
of
love
course. Yeah, Bob.
Yeah, good
Classic
stuff.
joint.
It's a great time. What were you saying?
No,
Difference in the 90s.
difference in from acting then and now.
Oh yeah,
the self-tape stuff is huge.
The self-tape stuff is cool. I mean, you do get to kind of then sometimes like, oh man, I'm playing director with myself, and you got to find someone. I guess there's good and bad things on that too. The one good thing is that you can constantly self-submit. You know what I mean, for different projects and that kind of stuff. There's more media and different stuff to kind of be in different projects, right? Before, it was like you were hoping on your manager, your agent, submit it. Plus, you don't even know what roles are going on, right?
So everything went to them back in the day.
It went to them.
So there was, if you didn't have an agent, you're pretty much SOL. Is that kind of how it worked, or what?
I'd say so. You had backstage, you had that, and then you went to Samuel French. You got all the book of the casting directors, and then you would buy the stamps, the envelopes. And then you're like, oh, that's cool. I sent out 50. It cost me a week's salary to do it. And then next thing you know, you get half of those coming back, so it was the wrong address. Things like that, right?
I think even today, though, if you don't have an agent, you're worse off, right?
Definitely.
I think so too, but I think at least you could work even if you don't have an agent now, right?
Yeah.
Because you can self-submit, like you said, to stuff, which is obviously not probably the best stuff always, but there is some cool projects still out there.
Yeah. I've the last year I've booked a lot of things on my own.
You dog, dude.
Yeah, that's what I do, man. I'm a mover and a shaker.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's with me, I do a lot of lead stuff, anyways. You know what I mean? So, but
I would love to know that girlfriend that you brought to LA.
What's she doing now?
What's she doing now?
Where is she?
well, I think she's somewhere in Sheboygan, Wisconsin.
So she moved back.
Snowed in as
We actually got a
speak.
surprise for Yeti. We actually brought her here as a guest today.
Oh
Come on
my
in.
God! Oh,
Just
that
kidding.
No, she's in Sheboygan.
you know, I'm at that age I could have a heart attack.
So eventually we're going to get to some questions from the actors looking for help, but
But before that,
Yeah. Well, actually, I had one more question just to piggyback off of what we were talking about earlier. If you had a choice of starting over, would you rather start back in that time again or where it is now?
I actually know I recently had thought about that, and being in the class that I'm in now, this really great acting class, Anthony Gilardi, a great, awesome class. And I'm watching some of the actors half my age, and I just wish I would have, I guess, networked more. Do you know what I mean? Really kind of focused on that. I think, you know, in the 90s, I was like, oh, cool. You just thought things were going to happen or kind of move.
Right.
At the same time, you had your personal life going on and enjoying your 20s, right?
LA too, right?
In LA in the 90s,
Yeah.
it was a blur. It was fun. And but it was like if you just would have just focused and go, no. Hi, how are you? Cool. You know what I mean? And did that more networking, which wasn't my forte and stuff.
networking is not your forte?
No.
You're so good at talking to people. though.
Surprising.
I'm actually pretty shy.
Just get a couple beers in him and he's good.
Exactly. Uh-oh, yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, very different too. Although right now it is kind of nice because it's, in my 30s too, it was kind of like I was over it, but I wasn't because I really do care about acting. I really like seeing good acting and I like that whole
But what is it
process.
about acting that you like the process of creating a character or telling a story? What is it that draws you to it?
For me, it's actually like seeing a therapist. So it's kind of
Cathartic.
I could take that character, and I even like the role I just played that was on last night. I played a junkie, alcoholic, bipolar, killer hitman, right? So we all have different shit that bounces in our head, but so you can pull that.
Sounds pretty dark.
It is. Yeah.
What network was that on, by the way? Or where
That
can
was
somebody
on
see that?
ID.
ABC Family.
Investigation Discovery.
nice.
So that's kind of cool. It was interesting. On another big program, I just was going to play a sex addict, and they ended up putting me in the finale of this big TV show right on Amazon. So that should be kind of neat, just seeing
Nice.
my face as a sexaholic.
Cool. So I got one more quick question before we jump into the audience questions.
We could ask 10 questions if
All
you
right,
wanted.
well,
We
I
could-
got
let's
another-
make
I
a
got
4-hour podcast.
All right, cool.
love it.
Actually,
Rogan.
that made me forget what the question
Sorry,
was.
sorry.
But okay, well, one of the questions was, what advice would you give to new actors now? So you're talking about the class. You're seeing actors half your age. If you could tell them like what you know from all these years of experience of being here, what would you tell them?
Really, in a way, it's an AC/DC song. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. I think really study your craft and read as much as you can, learn as much as you can. Do stage. I think stage is huge. I love doing stage.
Really, even in Los Angeles.
Yeah, or even in a class. I mean, just being there in front. You know what I mean? It's one thing to be on stage and do your thing. I think it's free. You know what I mean? Instead of when you're doing film.
Johnny, have you done stage? Austin, I've done stage.
I've done some, not a lot.
Because I think
but-
being in class is different from being on stage. And being in class, you're trying, because you can take a film acting class or just a general acting class.
Yeah, but
Audition,
if you are
class.
putting something on stage, there's 40 members in your class. Are you gonna stop and go, oh, I screwed up, let me go back? No, you can't.
Right.
It's time to roll, man.
I
You know
would
what I mean?
consider that
The audience
stage.
does not like that.
No, but I'm just saying in that same format, it's very different than doing
Put
film
yourself
and
out
TV.
there. The only way to do it is to do it.
Yeah, but if you're doing film and TV,
So you thrive under pressure. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, as long as I remember my lines. Yeah.
I think he's saying challenge yourself because there's only one way to get better is just to actually do it and be critiqued by your peers or a professor.
Yeah, make as many mistakes as you can when you're younger and learn, and you kind of learn different things. Even myself, watching myself on different things I've done. Well, prior, it was just the different bad habits too. You can kind of learn your bad habits, what you do. Keeping still. We all learned with Ryan. You know what I mean? Those days. And,
sure.
But but just making on camera. Being camera ready always. I even put a little stuff on my face today, so my cheeks weren't so red today.
Oh,
For us?
Nice.
Camera ready.
I'm
For
honored.
us?
Fresh.
Honored.
Wow.
I love it. True actor.
But
True actor.
yeah, and just kind of take it seriously. Don't take it like it's like it's just a fun project or a little part-time job.
Take it
you know?
seriously for sure.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, I could ask you.
And don't piss people off too.
I could ask you questions all day, but I feel like if you guys want to, you know,
I want to
there's
ask
couple things you wanna know.
a hard-hitting question, Eddie. Let's get down
I didn't
to
do
brass
it. I
tacks.
promise I didn't do it.
When I've been in the audition room, sometimes people talk about like bad audition
whoa,
stories.
don't drop names.
No names, no names. And the worst for me is like that sometimes the casting director would be on their phone or they just be non-receptive. Do you have any bad beat kind of audition experiences?
I do remember in the 90s, I was reading for Baywatch Nights, and I was kind of getting intimidated by like all the, the buff dudes and stuff like that.
I'm not familiar. Is that like a spin-off of
Yeah,
Baywatch?
it was a spin-off of Baywatch.
Baywatch.
Yeah.
It was Baywatch Nights. So
It was the After Dark
so
version.
I went in there. And I was going to read my thing, and she literally was on the phone. She's like, hold on.
Wait, on a landline or what?
90s?
No, she was on the speakerphone.
Oh,
I said, hold on. And she's like, and I literally was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, you could-
You say that?
You can say that.
No, I didn't. So I was ready to flay it by all the buff dudes out there, and then I get her. She's on her speakerphone, probably putting an order of Chinese food or something. I don't know.
Well, why Chinese food?
Because it's tasty.
I
agree.
It is.
It's good.
Mongolian beef. Right?
I like General
Chow.
Orange Chicken.
No, I was kind of annoyed, And of course, the one the one that I thought was a real good audition ended up being a gay porno video. I didn't remember. I was telling you about that.
Did you book it?
Remember, I was telling you about that.
So after you
No, I
wrapped-
wasn't big enough.
That is a problem.
But I'm big in Japan.
And can the audience see a copy of that?
The porno?
Yeah.
No, I'm not in it.
I mean, online it's probably pirated.
It's
all
out
over.
there. It's out there.
Polish power.
So you did talk about this briefly before we started, but you were kind of talking about how
Because a lot of people fall into this trap. How you come to Hollywood, and there's plenty of porn companies in Hollywood as well. Whatever, I'm not here to judge, but some
Yeah.
people aren't into that, which is fine. I've never done a porn. Have you guys?
nope.
All right. So you go into an audition, and all of a sudden, sometimes maybe you realize, oh, this isn't.
What you thought it was going to be.
This audition's in your shower in your apartment. Weird.
Well, there's that, but then there's
Yeah.
professional porns too, and I think you were telling us about a professional porn.
But you thought it was
the one with
something
the
else.
latex thing?
That's another story, maybe. But you thought it was something else,
The
right?
90s were fucking crazy.
I think you only had to wear latex after like.
Okay. Sheepskin.
Save a sheep.
But tell us about that experience you had that you were talking about earlier.
I haven't heard it.
It was
Yeah.
professional, right? It wasn't a sleazy thing.
Well, the one I was supposed to wrestle.
Sure.
I don't
the
know, dude.
You said it was, so you auditioned for a movie, right? Let's just, for everybody out there, you were auditioning
Oh yeah, it was
for a
it was a
film.
backstage, right? Yeah, no, I was back in the day and didn't have cell phones, so I had your beeper. The beeper went off and say, "Hey, we want to see it for this." So I raced to North Hollywood, and noticed that like two of the guys like around my age they raced out of there, like want to kick the guy's ass, and I was like, "Well, I might have this." I go in there, I got this, right? And so he's like,
2 out of 3.
And
we're
what,
talking. He's like, "Have you seen some of my films?" And it's going over my head. I'm like,
well, what was the part you were going out for? What did you come
I was one of the head volleyball guys, and then he was, hey, you'll be fine. Just wear those Speedos. And I'm like, well, I don't wear Speedos, man. And then he goes, not that anything wrong with Speedos, is not my thing. And then
We're sponsored by
yeah.
Speedos.
And next thing you know, I'm like, well, are there any girls in this thing? He's like, well, she might be the ref, but you'll be rolling around and that kind of stuff, and take your shirt off. And I'm like,
on a beach
what?
movie. That's
I go, yeah, but I'm like, what's this about? And he's like, oh yeah, don't you know? Ended up being a gay porn movie, and I said,
How much does it pay?
yeah, I came up short.
SAG all full
Yeah,
of budget.
so I left and I stormed out, and then
And you regret that to this day?
no, it was weird. I was excited, not excited that way, but I was excited that, man, someone wants to put you in a film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hollywood, here I come, literally.
Kind of disheartening.
Darcy blows Moby. One-eyed Jack.
This guy can go all day.
Yeah.
Hey, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
There's the sound effect.
There's the audience right there.
Anyway. Yeah, did you guys have more? I could go all day, but I feel like
I could go all day too.
talking too much.
But you know what?
I just want to hear some more of the war stories from the 90s.
in the 90s,
Actually, how'd you get your SAG card?
oh, you know what? I was a hand model for a day.
For one day?
Show us.
Well, the thing is, the thing is, It was on. I got it. It was on. What do you call it? Katie Holmes' first film, and then Colin Farrell was right there with me. So it was on phone booth. So I worked a couple days on phone booth.
Okay. Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then
movie.
My
The
Life
whole
as a
movie's
House.
inside of a phone booth, right?
Yeah, with Sutherland, who I ended up training with him when I had my own
Kiefer
gym.
or Donald?
Kiefer.
Wait, wasn't he just the voice? I thought
He was the
Colin
voice.
Farrell was in the phone booth.
No,
was.
yeah, he was in the.
Kiefer was the bad guy.
phone guy.
Got
Yeah.
it.
And then My Life as a House, I got one, and then let's see. Oh, then I got my final one, a hand model for the day. Casting director who used to come in the bar. It was for a bunch of films, a filler, right? And he said, "Hey, don't get drunk." And I'm like, "Yeah, I won't. I'll take a couple beers." I was so hungover. I always say this. So my hand, they put my hand on a pillow, dialed it all up.
Kept shaking
but it was
or what?
shaking the whole time.
Wow.
The director's like, "Stop shaking that hand." I'm like, and then I had a love scene with my final. I did like 5 scenes. One was stabbing someone, turning a knob, and one my hand had to crawl up a woman's shirt and
Grab her.
grab her.
Excuse me?
Grab her, and then
We were talking about films, right?
yeah, it was a film. I don't know what film it is, but I got my final SAG on that. I asked her out afterwards, and she was offended. Yeah.
You're like, we already went. The first.
We're going for a drink, and she's like, "You're rude." I'm like, "Oh, sorry."
Well, actually, I mean, there's an audience question kind of like having to do with that. Did you guys want to move into the audience
Yeah,
questions?
let's segue into it. So,
So-
Eddie, you can help us out with this.
Actually, it's for all of us.
Okay.
Because we're all kind of like trying to make it in the industry, and we ask people.
Oh wait, can I go back and pony back? We got pony back or
Pony back, piggyback,
Yeah, whatever you want, man.
ponies, piggies, whatever.
Yes. So anyways, I had my time to get my car, but I'm like, well, I guess I could join SAG, but I don't have any credits, real things. And so when I kind of quit, and then in the last whatever years in my 40s, I've been gobbling up little credits here and there because I guess I know what I'm doing. So I mean, then I was able to join SAG. I figured I was going to join. I'd at least have some credits and things that I've done, right? Do you know what I mean? I just didn't want to go into like, hey guys, I got my card. That was just my thing. So that's some advice.
Cool. Love it.
Love it, dude.
Yeah. Let's segue into the questions. And so obviously, Eddie, you can provide some information, some insight into
More of a
these
discussion.
questions.
No, because nobody has seen these questions yet, and
Well, you have, right?
but yeah, for me, but they're for everybody.
Okay.
And if people wanted to send us questions for the next podcast, they can reach us.
You can reach us on our Twitter at Surviving Holly W or any other YouTube, Instagram, whatever, Surviving Hollywood Podcast.
Send us questions. Your questions, how to survive in Hollywood. We have 3 right now, and this is for anybody. So the first question, it was kind of had to do with what Eddie was talking about, which is why I wanted to bring it up.
Cool.
Right now, I'm working on a short film, and I need some advice. Is it okay to tell your director that she's pretty? My worst fear is that she's going to think I'm a misogynist and get me fired. Is there a way that I can sleep with her and keep this gig? Need help walking this tightrope.
Wow. Complex.
So for anybody.
We'll Eddie take the first step
Please,
as the
Eddie.
honorary guest.
Well, I think on something like that, you got to let them, probably take the reins on that. You know what I mean? If they're, you know what I mean? Because
Because she is the director, and I guess this person's an actor.
yeah, I mean, if you're the actor, I'd take a step back and finish the project. If she's coming on to you, maybe work that out. But
I don't think you mentioned that.
I wouldn't pursue it. I'd stay very professional on set, whether you're doing,
I'm impressed.
whether you're in scene class. I mean, I've had. Oh, hold on. Well, no, forget. I've had scene partners back in the day. Kind of come on to me, and I was like, oh, it was kind of
It's awesome if they're good looking.
Well, no, it was, but
Yeah.
but it did feel kind of because you're like.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's never the same. You know what I mean? So I think maybe once after you finish the project, if you both want to pursue, but I think when you're during the project, just focus on your craft, your work. You know what I mean? And then once the project's done, because relationships don't last.
I'm
in
impressed
LA.
with this guy.
It's
Such a good answer.
You know what I mean? For the most of the part,
mature.
Yeah.
it's out here too. It's like it's just it's so much out here.
It's a good answer, Eddie. LA's really changed you.
But let's say you wanted to
Thank
have
you. I found God. I'm sorry.
Let's say you wanted to have your cake and you needed to. You're not here to disrespect anybody. You think maybe you want to marry this girl. We'll see. Is there a way that you can ask out your director while you're working with her, or do you have to wait? And I mean, obviously, the smartest thing to do is just wait till it's all over. But is there
And
a way?
then she's on a new project. Then she has another lead actor.
And then your jealousy starts, right?
Like Austin, what do you think?
I think that if it was that important to him that he needed to ask her out, then just say, let's grab a drink after this shoot on Friday, whatever.
Yeah.
Easy as that.
But the thing is, drinks can get you in trouble. You know, you have a
But
couple
that's-
drinks,
what's
next
it?
thing you know, one little hand goes here and there, or a kiss, and then it's like,
Just off of one drink.
The thing is, wait, I'll say
cocaine's
this,
a hell of a
though.
drug.
If anything comes up, she is in the position of power, so you have all the control. So she's not going to fire you from set if things get bad.
She can't fire you at all because it's the producers who could fire you.
Well, plus, if you've
Director
already
has-
shot all your scenes, they're like, well, we can't recast somebody now.
Exactly. So they can't get rid of you necessarily because it would cost them a lot of money to reshoot. But a director,
I just think there's a lot of fish in the sea out here to kind of, you know,
It's true.
put your pull out there and get it. You know what I mean? You don't really need to dip into your.
My suggestion is, of course, the smart answer, like you said, is to just wait till the project is over.
That is the smartest thing
And
to
then
do.
slowly, you know, maybe just kind of throw little things out there, like, hey, you know, I'd love to maybe grab coffee or something. Like, keep it minimal, where it's like, it doesn't seem like it's a date, but it could be just like an opportunity to see if maybe you feel the same way. You know
Yeah,
what I
because
mean?
if you guys
That's
are
it.
driving with each other, you guys already talked on set. So, you know, this kind of same kind of movies, places, maybe you were born, or places you want to visit. Oh, yeah, you know, you start driving together, you know.
Totally. But what's your suggestion, Aaron?
Driving.
If this guy really is like, I gotta ask this
Cold
girl out
turkey.
now, like otherwise it's like life or death. What would you do?
I mean, I would say realize in your mind that, let's just say, for the next 2-3 weeks, me and her, we're not going to get together, but that's a kind of a power play by you. You're going to hold the power because you're going to continue to try and build the relationship without any romantic feelings. And then hopefully by the time it's all over, you build up a great rapport and you can say, hey, let's grab a drink.
By then he's in the friend zone.
Yeah, you're in the friend zone by that time.
That is the risk.
By then she's already on the next project and she's
Yeah.
already talking to the new lead.
I've been
Exactly.
there plenty of times.
So, you need some therapy.
All right, next question.
All right, great.
Hopefully we can help this person with this next question. It goes, when you're waiting in a casting office, there's always that one guy who wants to talk to you.
Ugh.
Almost like he's saying, hey betas, look how relaxed and chill I am. What is up with that guy? How do you deal with him?
Well, should I?
Anybody familiar with this?
Johnny, you go. Yeah,
start.
that's
Johnny's
Right.
been that alpha, so it's best.
Are you guys-
No. Okay, so I think it depends on the audition. Okay, if it's a commercial audition where it requires you to be like excited or happy or like, you know, there's no like, I actually like talking to people while I'm waiting because to me it keeps you like engaged, keeps you fresh, keeps you like, you know, you go in there and you're just like ready to go. But if it's like a theatrical audition where you're like really focused and some dude is like chatting it up, definitely it's like, bro, come on, like what are you doing?
I mean, we all
agree.
know
So
that
what
guy,
do you do?
right?
I mean, in that situation, usually like
Tell on him.
I think there's a couple options. If you really don't want to talk to anybody, headphones, easy. Have them in, even if they're not even on. Just have them on. People are not going to interrupt the guy with the headphones. Like if you see headphones on, be like, hey man, what's up? Like, I'm on a call. You know,
You have
just
to talk for 10 minutes.
step off. I'm listening. You know, but I mean, that's typically what I would probably do. What about you guys?
What I would match, even though I agree that person could be slightly annoying, I would almost match that person's energy and then just, you know, brush them off until I go in and then forget about them. But
Eddie?
Yeah, I agree with Johnny. I mean, it's one thing, the commercial ones, you have to be fun and bubbly. Oh, yeah, you're talking, you know. But when it is like theatrical and it's something, you got a bunch of dialogue to learn, you know what I mean? I find that annoying. So I'm more of I like go in the corner and do my thing. I mean, you know, rehearse. And
Is that what you mean?
We got it.
We all follow
you know what I'm saying, and just but yeah, I find that annoying too because you're kind of focused on what you're gonna do, how it goes in. But I find that annoying too. I would just say, hey, dude, I'm not interested. All right.
Is he asking you out?
Well, no,
I mean,
but throw him off, right? Hold on, Herbert.
that is a bold move. That is
Yeah.
a
It
bold
is.
move.
Hey, dude, yeah, back off.
I think that could work just as good as anything. You'd keep your own like peace of mind,
Yeah,
and that guy could do it.
and then it throws him to a spin, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I was."
Hey, bro, I'm just trying.
Whoa, don't. Yeah, you know what I mean, right? But
Actually, that's a good idea. What about like throwing it the other way around, like you said, and then throwing them off their game?
Yeah.
One less person that's gonna get cast, man. Anybody?
That's true.
yeah, it's like, dude, touche. I mean, we're both here for a job. Obviously, you're trying to make a friend, and I don't need any more
Well, I don't
friends,
think he
yeah.
is trying to make a friend. I think he's trying to
Intimidate.
No,
Play the game.
I think he's trying to just play the game, make everybody else like knock them off a little bit so he can like maintain his confidence. I don't think.
But, that annoys me.
I would argue though
Yes.
that the casting people, they can, if they're out in the room or if they're not, they can see that too. So if you're matching his energy, just keep it positive. You don't have to get aggressive saying like, "Hey, buddy, I'm gonna get the part, not you."
Yep.
You know, the casting people are very aware that this guy's
You know
an
what's
asshole.
interesting? My buddy of mine, Sam, who's in Swipe as well, that one show, but he had a commercial audition last week, and he was there. There was 3 other guys ahead of him, right? And there was a guy who came in all, that. He put his name on the top, and everyone's like, "Fuck you, how you doing?" They came out,
Nice.
and the casting director had already seen that there was, and he's like, "What? Why would you do that?" And he's like, "Well, it's 11:10, and that's obviously you're not being called back to the
Yeah.
audition, and you might even get a call from your agent saying, "Hey,
Don't submit this.
well, and then you get dropped, right? Who wants to be
Yeah.
with a jerk like that?
Yeah.
I mean, who would do that anyway?
Was this friend you?
No, I don't go on commercial auditions anymore. I'm over it.
Oh, okay.
He's too busy for that, man.
That's hey,
Yeah, I only
respect.
do theatrical stuff.
Dude,
You know?
I love commercial auditions.
Actually, but that does kind of spark another question for that. Like, okay, obviously that was a poor choice to do that because it makes you not look like a douchebag. But how far is too far? Because like I actually remember an audition that I went to that I actually booked the spot for Coors, and when you do a beer commercial spot, they always tell you don't drink the beer in their audition, like because you're not allowed to see commercials where anyone's actually drinking. You can't do it. And so this guy in an audition cracked open because they had actual beers, cracked open the beer and pounded it in the audition.
The full thing.
I wasn't in the audition, but I heard about it, and it
Wow.
was somebody that we all actually knew. So they got a callback.
Wow.
So
So they
and,
paid off.
and it paid off. But again, like the guy in the casting room was like, "Buddy, I just told you don't do that. What are you doing?" But he still got a callback.
Who is it? I mean, write it down.
So we don't put names.
Not the word.
But they were in Screen Actors system.
Okay.
Oh, I think I know who it is.
So
one of 50 people.
so like how far is too far? You know what I mean? Like
You know what? You can read the room.
I don't know why you couldn't say first name.
yeah, it doesn't matter, dude. We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
later.
they got the callback.
You know what? I think you guys were on this show as well. I read for a couple years ago, My Crazy Ex, right? You guys were on that.
Yeah, I was on that.
We both,
we were in the same episode.
Yeah.
I went in to
I was
read
on
for that, right? And I must have been too good or whatever this and that. She literally, the casting director goes, she goes, "Oh, whoa." And I go, "What?" And she goes, "Whoa, that was intense." I'm like, "Thanks." And she goes, "Yeah, thanks." And she goes, "Well, thanks." And she goes, "You have issues," or something like that. She had something like that.
Wow.
And I was like,
Was the role intense?
It was a loving father. What's
yeah,
wrong,
it was,
Eddie?
I read it as an intense. Yeah, I just thought that was weird that you'd say it.
I don't remember her name, but I do remember that casting director. Seems like a meek person to
She was
me.
motherly. too.
Very nice, motherly.
So I took it as maybe I didn't call her back in the 90s, or maybe I went out with her or something.
Relax.
Good joke. Good joke.
Where's my thing at?
Rim shot.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway,
Yeah.
next question.
All right, we got one last question from the audience here. I actually did have a few. I wanted to get your thoughts on just like maybe like rapid fire after we're done with this. But the very last question from the audience is: I have an audition tomorrow for a pretty decent gig, and I'm not memorized. What should I do? Should I go in there and read off of the sides, or what? Please help. I'm definitely gonna show up, and I need to get this.
It's a good question.
Memorize.
We've all been. No, but we've all been there.
We sure have.
So
Wait, Johnny, have you been there?
What were you not memorized?
Well, where they
scenario-
give it to you so short a time that
This
you
is
don't.
a choice gig. He needs to show up, but he's not memorized. What should he do? I mean, should he go in there and just read, or
You guys want to go first, or somebody else want?
Wait,
Why
Johnny,
you
have
go?
you been there? I'm just asking.
Yeah, actually, we were talking about this on the first podcast that I had a
you
series
were
regular
memorized.
audition 3 hours before I had to be there.
That's what I'm saying.
And I was pretty much off book.
so? Johnny
So
conquered it.
I mean, I would. This is what I would say is like if you feel like the words are a problem, first of all, the words should never be the problem. I think it's more important to just be the character, and I think it's better if you just like improvise the words or get it close to it. Like as long as you're not changing the context of the story, I think it's cool. Like I think as a person that was sitting on the other, if I was sitting on the other side and I saw somebody like, well, they didn't have the lines perfect, but they are the character, I'd be like, let's bring them back. You know what I mean? Because like the words, I mean, anybody could just sit there and memorize them and just say them, you know? So that's my suggestion would be like, obviously try to get off book as you can, but focus more on like, what is the story about? Who am I in this world or whatever it might be? And then just do your best to embody the character. That's my suggestion.
I like that.
What about you guys?
Eddie, I want to hear from you first.
No, so this is not a self-tape, right? This is going in?
Going in.
Because self-tapes are nice because I tape it to the side. See,
Yeah,
no, I'm
I
teasing.
prefer them.
I've done that before.
I would do that. Yeah. Little cue cards all over. That's rough. You know, for me, it's always been tough. Like certain commercials, even like this, like medical stuff, like words like that would never come out of my mouth.
That is hard, yeah.
So those for me, they bounce around my head, and it's like I kill myself. I focus on the words I don't know, and I'm like, fuck, it can mess me up. That's a good question. I guess being off book is best, but
he says he does not have
should
time.
he go in and just read, or is there a different option?
What would you do?
well, I would if it was that case, and there was a bunch of stuff. I'd know as much as possible, and still keep the sides just. Like as a security blanket.
Bring it in with you. Totally. You have it there.
Because the thing is, I think the worst thing you don't want to not have them, and you keep it going. Oh wait, can we do this again? Oh wait, what was that? You know what I mean? And kind of fall on your face. You don't want that to happen.
Right.
All right, this is what I would say. First of all, if your audition's tomorrow, we're not gonna. Sorry, buddy, but you're not gonna get our advice. But this episode's not gonna come out for a couple weeks. But I guess what I would do. I've been on many auditions where I know the lines pretty good, but I guess if I would have had another day or two, I could have known them better. And I've not booked it. I guess what I would do is just assume you're not going to book it, and then
don't show up.
No. He says he's going to show up. So you go there, and you need, like Johnny said, you need to know the general story and the character. And you go in and you go, okay, this is the beginning of the scene, the middle of the scene, the end of the scene. I know where the scene is going. And then you just go for it. You go totally off book, and you're probably not going to book it anyway, but you weren't going to book it before. At least you differentiated yourself.
But wouldn't you say that that's like counterproductive to think like already going in saying like, I'm not going to get this, but here I am.
Well, it's outcome independent. I think that's how you should kind of go in.
But
not that you don't try, but you go in just kind of assuming I'm going to give the best performance I can based on the analysis that I've done. If I don't book it, whatever. There's plenty of others.
But I think the mindset is, this is the job. It's not that I don't care. It's like, this is the booking. Like, I get to perform right here. There is no next step.
Just have fun with it, right?
Hey, I mean, if you can.
I would have fun with it.
Did you ever hear Rodney Dangerfield's audition for Caddyshack? You know what he did?
No, what?
He walked in, put a bunch of coke, chopped lines, did a huge line, and he goes, when do we start filming? And then he did it, but yeah, that's like his.
You guys ever heard? What's the dude?
I can't do it now, but
the dude that played Fonzie, Henry Winkler. You guys ever heard how he booked that thing on Happy Days? Fonzie.
No.
He was like dyslexic or something, so he had trouble learning the lines, and he got those lines like day before or day of. So he just memorized the first few, and then he went in and just said whatever he could as the character. And then he got the call back and he got the role.
As the character, though.
So after the first few lines, what did he do? He just kind of like
improv it?
He's this was on like the Nerdist podcast or something, but yeah, he improv.
Hey, we don't name drop other podcasts.
We're plugging a much more successful podcast.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because he was
prior
to that. He was on, I think, his first film in Sylvester Stallone's The Lords of Flatbush. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's about the 50s, and they were all in there, small parts, but it's a great film. Check it out. It's about the 50s, the gangs. Knife fights, but it's
the neighborhood, the old neighborhood.
Yeah, the old neighborhood back. Yeah, the Lords
Lord of the Dance,
the Lords of Flatbush.
All right, do you guys mind if I go into my rapid fire questions for Eddie?
Yeah, do it.
All right, so what I figure is, because listen, this is our second episode. You're the guest for a second episode. We all envision probably a couple years from now, this podcast will be probably Mark Maron. Surviving Hollywood, Joe Rogan Experience, we'll be right up there. So we figured this podcast is not only a product of what all of us put in, but it's also a product of our times. So I just want to get your take on not necessarily acting things, but just stuff going on in 2019, current events. So I'm going to just, present you with a phrase or just a general topic, and you could say as little or as much as you want on the topics as we list them, and then we'll move forward, okay? And then
So we're just getting your perspective.
just your perspective on things going on in 2019, really, because I figure this podcast could be looked at decades from now as, what was the general, what do people think?
What could have been successful?
So there's no right or wrong answer. It's just generally, what do you think?
I got it.
All right. So, and if it ain't, say as little or as much as you want. First thing, build the wall.
Hell yeah. Just kidding.
Oh,
Well, which wall are we talking about?
We're talking about the wall between U.S. and Mexico. Build the wall. What are your thoughts on that?
Eddie's already filtering himself.
He's already like, I shouldn't get on here.
Well,
Let's not.
well, no. I mean, depend. How big is this wall going to be again? No, I'm teasing.
It just got 10 feet bigger.
Well, even just forgetting about the wall, I think there's a lot of things that they should focus on more as far as a lot of the drugs that do come in, a lot of the kids that are trafficked, that kind of stuff. I wish they'd focus more on that. And I think that, like, even on CNN, whatever this and that's always about the wall. But whether people are coming from South America or different other countries, what's coming into our country, as far as like with the drugs and the kind of pedophiles, just kind of those kind of people, like, need to be vented, you know what I mean, coming into the country.
We're talking about Mexicans.
Vetted, yeah.
I know, everywhere from
Hey,
all
I'm sitting right here. Come on, guys.
everyone from all over. I
haven't
just
left
think
the
there, well, there needs, I mean, for myself, I grew up in Chicago. So if I were to commit any kind of crime or anything, even if I just expose myself, I'm just saying for the heck of it, I'm drunk. You know where to find me. You know what I mean? Well, actually, you don't. It's in my PO box. But I'm saying, I think everyone needs to be identified who's in the country, whether they're good or bad.
So you're saying a numbering system on people?
Like,
no,
I
I wouldn't
Germany
say-
did that.
Just kidding.
No, but I wouldn't say that. I'm just saying.
We're being wrong.
You want them to come in legally?
In general, you can't be a ghost in the country and just do what you want.
I don't think that opinion's that controversial.
What?
Snowden?
You want to know who's in your country? I mean, you're acting
well-
like it's a weird thing to say.
Well, you should know, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
It's not too late to take this back, Eddie.
I said,
You seem nervous about that answer. Let's move to the next one. All right.
It may get worse from there.
I'll hit you with the softball. What's your favorite TV show of 2019?
oh, you know what? I binged watched the whole True Detective.
Oh, dude, season 3. I just watched that too.
I love that, and I thought Stephen Dorfman and the other character I'm just starting to discover.
What is that guy's name?
Marshala Ali.
Mashallah.
Watching him, the layers of an actor, of a character,
he's
to
fantastic.
go through those 3 different stages in your life,
Just
and
watch it?
and it's kind of, it almost kind of reflection of yourself watching it, because the things that would come out of my mouth and I did and said when I was in my 20s compared to now in my 40s, picture me in my 60s, right? And I'm just saying, even with him, he's older, and now he's regretting things in his life, and maybe certain relationships or certain things he did and said.
Season 3 was so good.
I think it's really layered so much. The writing's great, very emotional. I dig that, and then what else? I've been doing so much because I didn't have a TV for 3 years, so I just started watching TV again the last year.
Ozark? Did you watch that?
Oh, I liked Ozark. Although everyone keeps on getting killed, but
Hey,
Spoiler.
That's
no,
the
I
life.
like that.
I haven't seen it
What else?
Don't get used to
yet.
anybody.
Game of Thrones? I've actually never seen that show.
You know what? I saw 20 minutes of it, and I played Dungeons and Dragons in the 80s as a kid.
Nerd.
And
Loser.
I was
I'm just
good.
kidding.
I remember Conan the Barbarian.
All right, so you liked True
good
Detective
movie.
3. I watched that too. Really good show. I thought,
Yeah.
would you say it's better than season 1, just as good, or... Because obviously it's better than season 2.
Season 3, I like it because the actors aren't so known,
Yeah.
and I do
And,
like.
and just the chemistry, the buddy dynamic between
Yeah.
Dorf and Ali was so good.
And I like too, because it is set in a certain time where there's still
3 times.
racial tension stuff going on, and and just how he's handled his stuff in his life.
Yeah, really awesome to see the 2 different perspectives.
A certain kind of character, and I do like watching shows that people are pretty much unknown. Plus, it inspires me. Going, every time when I quit every other day acting, I go, you know what? Oh, this is cool, and I'm watching someone who maybe hasn't been around, and maybe they have been around and no one discovered them. So I do like watching those kind of shows.
Sweet.
You know what I mean?
Awesome. Love it. All right, so next one. Again, speak as much or as little as you want on these things. Your thoughts on Bitcoin?
Really? No.
I want to know your
I'm a
thoughts on it.
cash person. I'm a cash person. I put my, well, I won't tell you where I put my cash, but I put it in like in books and stuff. I don't even put it in the bank.
Now, do you think Bitcoin could be a means of peer-to-peer transaction, or maybe just a store of value, or?
I think it's a joke.
So you don't think Bitcoin's gonna be around much longer? If at all?
I would invest in more.
Eddie's insulted that you're putting this
Yeah,
type
dude.
of question.
No,
Come on,
this is 2019.
But Bitcoin, it doesn't. It's like Greek. It doesn't mean anything to me. You know what I mean? It's like
So-
Actually, did you know that one of the stadium in New Orleans,
I just
they
heard
actually
about
went to
that.
a cashless system.
I'd be fucked.
That was I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
a lot of stadiums now are going to go to this new system where literally they don't take any cash
That is
anymore.
that is scary. Is to
So,
take cash out of society.
What would you?
But
what would you
if
say?
what if you have bad credit and you're a cash person?
Well,
and
a
you wanna go-
bank. I mean, you could get an online bank.
Well, for
you
the
know what I mean?
government, for the government to take cash out of society, don't you think that's scary?
Well, not the
I do.
government, but I mean, I'm talking about like
Yeah.
football
arenas and stuff like that.
Well,
They're gonna be-
the Mavs are accepting Bitcoin for tickets.
that's
People
kind of
really
wild.
use Bitcoin.
Yeah. Anyway, next
sorry.
question. Next question. Listen, you gave your. We're gonna move through these. Favorite rapper.
Well, I did see Ice-T like in 1991. I like the 80s rap. I like Run DMC, Schoolie D. You know what I mean?
Will Smith
Rev Run.
was 90s, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you like D, M, or C? Just kidding. All right. Where do you get your news?
I like to watch on YouTube.
Yeah, me too. Which channel?
nice.
What do you like?
I won't say.
What, Young Turk, Steven Crowder? What do you like? David
I
Pakman?
I kind of filter around.
You won't say?
Fox.
I mean, I get my
No.
news from all different things. On
Yeah,
YouTube.
me too.
The old newspaper.
Alex Jones?
The old black and white.
No, yeah.
Our next question. Green Book winning Best Picture. Deserved or not?
Oh, of course. I just watched that the other day and I loved it. I really liked Vito. I mean, just his character. He's learning. It's kind of like they've switched roles, but they're different colors.
Yeah, Driving Miss Daisy reversed.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. But just exactly, and then how the different compassion that they both feel for each other at the end. It's a life lesson. They both learn a lot, and it shows different kind of prejudice and different kind of thoughts just kind of being put down. If you grew up in a certain neighborhood and that's how you've been taught,
Yeah.
you've been kind of blinders on, and you open it up and you're like, oh wow, and then you're like, well, why do I even think this way? You know what I mean? And even it's just. I thought it was really great, inspiring. I thought it was a perfect film for everyone.
Pretty funny too, right?
Everyone
Yeah, I
was
loved
to
it.
watch it.
I liked
enjoyed
it.
it.
And I can relate.
All right, the Marvel film Black Panther being nominated. Is that deserved? Why or why not?
Yeah, you know what? No, because I watched 20
Whoa,
minutes
whoa,
of it.
whoa,
and
hey.
Oh,
I,
that's
watched,
the answer, dude.
I watched 20 minutes of it, and I was
You're
like,
like, where are the white people?
well,
It's not about that.
let's
It's about-
just say I turned it off and I put on like
Well, do you like Marvel
Cheers.
films or no?
when I was a little kid.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm an adult. So
I think if that was nominated, shouldn't have Thor or Civil War been nominated?
Those are superhero movies.
yeah, no,
Black
I
All right, next question.
the last time I think I
All
saw
right.
Spider-Man in the early 80s.
Well, Spider-Man into
80s.
the
Or
multiverse one.
Superman.
And Oscar.
Superman.
All right, next question. Your thoughts on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez?
She's cute.
Okay.
You mean her ideas are cute?
Oh, I'm just wondering, any thoughts?
She
I mean,
looks
she's-
like an ex of mine, ex-girlfriend.
Okay, so
Okay.
okay. Alex Jones being deplatformed from all social media.
Well, yeah, I mean, he puts these far-fetched things out there.
So you think it's deserved or no?
I'm not a really good fan. I mean, I don't like, I don't know if he's making all the crap up or just throws it out there to kind of confuse people.
Do you think he should have been deplatformed? Is the question.
You mean taken off
All social media almost within the same week.
Well, we do have freedom of speech, so, I guess not.
A man and the people. That's all the questions I had. What do you guys got?
Anything else?
Johnny?
No.
How'd I
wanted
do?
time
How'd
to
I
think.
do?
Hey, there's no right or wrong answer.
you
So
got-
just trying to
you
gauge your
You
thoughts.
got 3.
Thank you.
3 out of 10. Nice job, man. No, dude, seriously. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Appreciate
Love
you.
hearing the stories.
Oh, hey, guys, I got a couple things going on.
All right, yeah. Tell us what you got
plugs.
coming up. Where can we see you?
Yeah, so we got the pilot that's out there for Swipe, with Eddie McGee. He's got his other show going on, Eddie's Place.
Where can we catch that?
Well, right now it's at a pretty big. I know it's in development. They're looking at a what do you call those things? It's a big company, network. Yeah. Anyways,
Network. All right.
and then I'm gonna be filming soon a lead called Vampires and Aliens. So it's a comedy set in the late
Vampire.
50s. I'm the main vampire.
Nice.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like Abbott and Costello going to space. So
All right.
I get
I'm
launched.
in.
I get launched into space. As a vampire.
You're both Abbott and Costello?
I ate Abbott. No, I'm kidding. And then we get the music video. What else did I just did that show last night. It aired Investigation Discovery. I played that killer and Killing Time.
How about your social media so people can follow up if they ever want to?
Where do we locate you?
Eddie Vincent 5030. I don't know how I got that.
I love the throwbacks you do from like pictures of you acting in the 90s and stuff on your Instagram.
I was there was the black and white days. The headshots.
Yeah.
And
We're talking about the 50s.
We know about the 90s.
yes, I kind of looked cool. I was in shape, and then in the night, the 90s, yeah. When the 90s, I had my own gym. We had some celebrities in there. Nicolas Cage, Sutherland, Kiefer Sutherland, Jimmy Smith. They were all cool. So I was doing all that. I was training, but now I'm all injured, so I really can't work out.
Okay.
That's...
And last thing for the plugs, if you had to recommend...
In Modern Mafia, we shot the pilot. It's a comedy.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And that one's great. That's
I love the trailer.
Thank you so much. So there's a bunch. Now it's turned more comedy. We've added a really great cast, a bunch of different people. This really great female character, kind of like a Fran Dresner, kind of, And we shot with 3 cameras on set like 5 months ago. So that should be out, and who knows where that's going. So
Sweet.
yeah. So maybe I can quit my day job soon.
There you go.
For sure.
If you could recommend one fellow up-and-coming actor to be on this podcast next, what friend would you recommend to us?
Oh boy, let me think really second. That I know.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank. I know all my favorite characters are right here.
Hey, thanks, man.
Wasn't meant to be a tough
The
question.
hardest question yet.
I know.
Yeah, no.
You stumped him, dude.
I was just thinking of.
He doesn't have a story for that.
Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Eddie, appreciate you, man.
Thank you guys. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, dude.
Hopefully you come
Always
back
pleasure.
again.
Hey, no, I definitely will. If I'm not shooting, even if I'm shooting all these different projects, I'll come
You
anytime.
probably have an hour, right?
Yeah,
I'll come anytime.
All right,
I appreciate that.
Give you some beer next time.
That's
Thank
our
you.
buddy.
Sweet. So thank you guys for tuning in. That's Surviving Hollywood. We will catch you guys next time.
If you have questions, feel free to send them in at
Surviving Hollywood podcast on all social media fronts.
Love it.
Go.
All right.
Thanks,
Later.
buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, guys.